I wanted to share something. So, one of the clients, she remembers she had a gift bag with the brand of my store, Starlight. And she Googled to see, because I was no longer there in East Los. And she found me on Instagram. She sends me a message, right, a DM, and she says, "Hey, you gave me a reading about 3 or 4 years ago, and I want to get a reading, you know, again with you and healing." And so I asked her, like, "Oh, tell me a little bit about your reading." Usually, when I have clients, I ask them like a little bit about their reading, especially if I haven't seen them for years, right? And because when I do readings, I'm channeling, I don't remember most of the time a reading, but there's a rare occasion that I do remember some of those readings. So, anyways, on this client in particular, when I gave her the reading, I know she wanted to work for a utility company. At the time, she had asked me, like, should I apply there? Do you see me there? And I say, yes, I do. I see you working for the utility company. And that was it, right? So 3 or 4 years later, she contacts me and tells me, "Hey, I just want to let you know you were right. I applied, but the first time I was denied. I reapplied again because I remember what you told me, and I got hired. And I'm still working for the utility company." And so when she reached out to me, she wanted to know about her health, her career, and a relationship. And so I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so that was one case, right? So then I had another client reach out to me. She also had a reading from East Los Angeles about 4 years ago. And she DM'd me on Instagram. Wait, no, she didn't DM me on Instagram. She booked online. I reached out to her, and then she told me that I had given her a reading about 3 to 4 years ago, and that was correct. And then I asked her, "Okay, tell me a little bit about your reading." And she started telling me about her reading, and this is an interesting example, and I'm going to tell you why. So, some of the readings that I do, what I channel, sometimes your guides don't want me to give you all the information, right? They don't want me to give you the answer. So basically, they want to give you enough information for you to figure it out, because it's for you to figure it out. You can't get all the answers. When I do readings, I am not going to straight out tell you your other half is cheating on you, because what's going to happen is you're going to run after your person and you're going to say, "Hey, I got a tarot reading," and they say you're cheating on me. No, this is not how we work. We That's not how I work. You don't approach anybody without evidence, because human nature, they're going to deny it. A lot of people who are liars are cowards. They're not going to admit, "Hey, I've been cheating on you. Hey, I have another relationship. Hey, yeah." They're just gonna lie. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's human nature, or it's devil energy. I don't know. That's why it's so hard to catch a narcissist, because they're liars, and the only way to catch a narcissist is bravery and catch them in their lies, right? So we have to be smart. All right. So I told her at the time, it's like, "Hey, there is some hidden information about this particular person, and it's your job to figure it out." Okay. So she contacts me, yeah, like 2 weeks ago. And she tells me, "You're right. I just want to let you know that, I confronted him. Like a week later, I got the reading. And I asked him, 'Hey, are you hiding anything from me?' Of course, he said no. I can't say yes. He said no. But that wasn't enough for her. She's like, I started investigating. And what she found out was the guy was living a second life for 5 years. That's the time that she was dating him. He was living with, he says, is not, well, his girlfriend, but it's complicated, right? It's complicated. So basically, he was living with this girl that was his girlfriend, but basically they're roommates, right? And that's all he told her, and just told her it's complicated. So obviously she breaks up with him, and she's devastated because she loved the guy. She really truly loved the guy, and this really broke her heart. But she was being lied to. She was being, deceived. And so this is where again we get to karmic relationships. You're living with a person, and this is one of the questions I ask to her. It's like, well, is he tied to this person because he has kids? And it's like, no, he doesn't have kids. So what's the problem? Like, why is it so complicated that he can't leave the person? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're wasting your time. You're wasting energy, your time, and you're being deceived. So, anyways, she dumps him, and since then she hasn't been with any committed relationship because of the whole trauma and the lie and the deceiving, and it affected her trust issues. And of course, how is it not going to affect you? It's gonna you're gonna have trust issues. You're gonna have trauma. You're gonna have a broken heart, right? And so then she tells me, but I just, I met this person, and I want to get a reading on this person. I want you to see what you pick up. Okay. So when they ask me this question, the first thing I do is I look at their energy. Based on that energy, I could tell you so much about the person. So on the first case, I could tell a lot. But while I'm looking at their energy, I'm also asking questions like, where did you meet this person? Um, and the reason I ask this question is, as I ask you the question, it's like I'm getting downloads, you know. I'm getting information like, oh, ask this question. And as I ask that question, then I'm getting information, right? So, okay. So, this girl who's dating, obviously, she got out of a horrible relationship, 5-year relationship. She was being deceived. Okay. So, she's dating this person, and, I do the spread, and I say, okay, she's investing her time and emotions with this person. Obviously, one, they're handsome. Number two, they are a bartender. Now, when I do the reading, she's telling me, oh, he told me that he's talking to other girls. Okay, all right. It comes with the game, right? Like off bat, they're a bartender. Yes, they're going to meet girls. If they're handsome, yes, it's going to be easy for them to connect with girls. And it's also easy for them to deceive them, right? Okay, so I do the spread and I say, look, this person is being honest on certain things, but it's not fully honest. He's hiding things. So I go, is it worth your investment? Let's look at all our let's look at this person and see if this is worth our investment before you get too far in and your emotions are again involved in this relationship and you get hurt again, right? So let's go through this and say, honestly, it's not worth your investment. And off the bat, she's like, I already knew in my heart that it's not meant to be. Okay, so we finished the reading, and I said, you have now my number. You can text me anytime. And sure enough, she texts me like a few days later. Yeah, say a few days later, she texts me and she says, "Gosh, Maria, you're right. I found out that he has a girlfriend, and when I confronted him, he blocked me." And I said, "Oh, what a coward." Um, I think the best ethical way in this situation, I would text the girlfriend and I say, "Hey, your guy is not as honest as he seems." And she said she was, and I haven't heard from her since then. But she said she was going to do that. Now, there's a lot of people who are not very honest, and I want to say it's just so rare nowadays. And even she said it's like so rare to find a good guy. And it is. It's rare to find honest people. right? And especially if you are in Devil's Playground. What I mean by Devil's Playground, like bars, club. The key is for you to be smarter than the devil, right? So you want to, because you're gonna get all those people in the bar that are regulars who have the trauma, who are cheaters, who are also traffickers, and there's a lot going on there, drugs and so forth. There's a lot going on in clubs. But you want to find that one, you want to be smart enough to find that one that's not part of that whole scene. So, like bartenders, right? We know that bartenders get a lot of gain. They're flirts. They should have a warning label. Okay, so when you get a reading from me, obviously I'm gonna look at their energy first. You know, you're gonna tell me, hey, so and so, what about this person? You rarely see any psychics, healers, clairvoyant people at bars because it really drain us. Also, a lot can see entities in there, and so we just don't frequent those places. There are practices you can do to protect your energy. The more sensitive you become, you're gonna feel a shift of energy that you've been drained because you went to a certain location. It's like going to concerts or clubs or bars or any event, right? It's not high vibration. So this is just a classic example of some of the customers that have reached out to me that I did readings many years ago. Now, energy does change. So I could say, oh, you know, this is going to happen, but it might not happen because energy is constantly changing depending on your actions. But just remember that when you get a reading, it's your guides that come through, and your guides can see the future. So they already know what's going to happen. So they come through a person that can be that channel to kind of divert you from it happening or guide you the best that they can so that you can overcome that obstacle, right? So, for example, people dealing with karmic relationships, narcissists, avoiding people, even like breakups, you know, they can all be very devastating and definitely hit you in your emotions, and it can really make you depressed. It can definitely make you angry. It could definitely make you, you know, your self-esteem, your confidence, and it can also affect not only your financial stability, but any stability in your life. So, if you have any questions, you can always DM me. I will give you my cell phone numbers. You can text me. But that's just a classic example of some of the readings I've had lately. And I just love it how customers from many years ago have found me. And they're like, gosh, you know, I want a reading again with you. That's awesome. I love that.